Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, our topic is error analysis. Subject is psycholinguistics. We know the difficulty in languages is a relative. If I am a Pashto speaker and I try to learn English language, the difficulty that I will face in English language learning is going to be different from the L2 learner of other language. Like if Urdu speaker is trying to learn English language, the difficulty that will be facing by him is going to be different, more or less, from the difficulties that I will be facing as a Pashto speaker. Similarly, other languages learner, when they try to learn English language, their difficult areas are going to be different. So what I want to say is the difficulty is relative in languages. That depends upon the L2 learners, right? His language or her language and its similarity with the target language. If similarity is more between the two languages, L1 and L2, so the learner would not be having that much problem. But if the problem is, the differences are more between L1 and L2, then definitely the learner will be having more problem. So now the contrasting analysis hypothesis is actually just the basic principle. The whole hypothesis is based on this principle, which is closely connected with the error analysis. Now, to explain error analysis, you will have to explain contrastive hypothesis, contrastive analysis hypothesis. Now, contrastive analysis, according to contrastive analysis hypothesis, some features of L2 will be easier for L2 learner, and some of the area of L2 will be difficult. Some area will be difficult and some area are going to be easier. This is the one claim of contrastive analysis hypothesis. Another claim of this hypothesis is that differences of L1 of L2 can be predicted for the L1. The differences of L1 L2 can be predicted for the L1 learner, right? तो सर मतलब ये क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर L1 की मतलब बाज एरिया में L2 के स्टूडेंट के लिए मसला नहीं होगा और बाज एरिया में उनके लिए मसला हो सकता है। अब जहां पे मसला हो सकता है उसके बारे में कहा जाता है कि ये प्रिडिक्टेबल है, आप उसको प्रिडिक्ट कर सकते हैं। वो किस तरह से कि व्हेन यू कंपेयर L1 L2 एंड you come up with the differences in the two areas. तो ये बेसिकली कंट्रास्टिव एनालिसिस हाइपोथेसिस इसी पे बेस्ड थी, इसी पे अच्छा खासा। लेकिन हुआ क्या, ये 90s में इट वाज वेरी मच पॉपुलर इन 1960s and 70s this hypothesis, and many researchers work on that area in order to highlight the difficult area of L2. But empirical researches, they pointed out something different, which actually went against the hypothesis. उधर क्या हुआ कि उन्होंने ये कहा कि the error, many error predicted by contrastive analysis hypothesis never happened. Another reason was that many error were not caused by the interference of L1. So, this contrastive analysis hypothesis actually, which was very much important for the researcher. It was, the area where many researchers were contributing and were focusing, that actually dies down. And that was the strong version of contrastive analysis hypothesis. Later on, they came up with another weaker version of contrastive analysis hypothesis, which is actually error analysis. Now, this new hypothesis said that, I mean, we are not interested in predicting the error of L2 for L1 learner, and neither we are interested to stop the error. Rather, we are interested in the evaluation, classification, identification of the errors. I mean, the reason behind these errors. So, this is later on changed into error analysis. What is error analysis? Error analysis says this approach actually reaches for the sources of error committed by L1 learner of L2. He doesn't try to predict or prevent error. Rather, this approach focus on the collection of error, identification, then further identification of this error into classification of error into different language aspects, clarification, and then classification, and then the evaluation of these error. मतलब है errors को ये देखना है कि error को इकट्ठा करना है, error को फिर जो है ना एक सिस्टमेटिकली रखना है, फिर उसको जो है ना जहां जहां के लैंग्वेज के जिस एस्पेक्ट के साथ वो कनेक्टेड है उन्हीं के साथ उनको वो करना है, क्लासिफिकेशन उनकी करनी है, और फिर इसकी जो है ना इवेल्युएशन करनी है, इवेल्युएशन के साथ डिस्क्रिप्शन वगैरह। तो ये एरर एनालिसिस। फिर लोगों ने आफ्टर 1970 the researcher focus on there. Many people, I mean, worked on it. Researchers, linguists, they worked in this area, contributed a lot because they classified, developed taxonomy forward for these errors. But one serious objection which raised over this approach was that it actually narrowed down the approach towards second language acquisition because it focuses only on one particular aspect of language and neglecting the other aspect of language. That is the reason that it was called the narrowness of perspective. I mean, the analysis was criticized for the narrowness of the perspective, that it is only focusing on what? On one particular aspect of language. Now, later on, when time went on and many people classified errors, evaluate, and then develop different kind of terminology, taxonomy for what? For explaining those errors. They actually came up with one another idea, which in other way you can say that error analysis developed into the performance analysis. Performance analysis basically was, the purpose of this was to analyze language learner performance globally. I mean the errors which are happening in all the languages. L2 learner of English, they should be analyzed, classified to bring a kind of uniformity. That approach was actually just like finding uniformity among diversities. मुख्तलिफ एरिया के मुख्तलिफ लैंग्वेज स्पीकर जो है, जो इंग्लिश सीख रहे थे नेट मतलब फॉरनर्स, उनके वो जो प्रॉब्लम पेश आ रही थी उनको एक साथ करके ये देखा कि ये देखने की कोशिश करना, जिस तरह से नोम चॉम्स्की ने यूनिवर्सल ग्रामर के बारे में एक ऐसी यूनिवर्सल यूनिफॉर्मिटी पैदा की जाए कि बेसिकली क्या मसले आते हैं लैंग्वेज में, ये बहरहाल उन्होंने डेवलप कर दिया। लेकिन आफ्टर mid 1980s we see that, I mean, researchers were not taking that much interest in the error analysis, but up to that time people, the researchers had contributed a lot in this field. Now if we analyze these error analysis and its taxonomy, so we will see that many people contributed into this new, I mean, branch of you can say of syntax. So let's first talk about the error analysis types. Now, one of the taxonomy is surface strategy taxonomy. Surface strategy taxonomy, we know that in syntax, in grammar, there are two, level of grammar. One is deep structure and another is surface structure. So far surface structure is concerned, this taxonomy is only focusing on that aspect of grammar. According to it, I mean, the error which are committed by the L1, L2 learner, they actually can be omission. The error can be connected with omission of something in a sentence or addition of something, or uh, word order problem. Another thing can be by adding, I mean, something additional, something more, but twice. Like I will give you the example of omission. Now, if you look at omission, I mean, in interrogative sentences, the native speaker in Pakistani context, you see that the beginner, they sometimes have the problem that when they make convert the affirmative sentences into interrogative sentences, they do not use the auxiliary. The missing of auxiliary in interrogative in Pakistani context, that is an example of what? Example of omission. Another is addition. Addition is one affirmative sentence, like he writes a letter, right? Now, if this affirmative sentence I change into interrogative sentence, does he write a letter? Now, if I include does twice, I mean es with verb, another does, like what does he writes? Writes and does between WH word and subject. So that is a kind of addition. And what other problem? Like when you, put the declarative word order sentence in interrogative sentences. So that is the word order problem. So, I mean, these three categories, or it can be something like the another was misformation using the wrong form of morpheme or structure. So these kind of errors, they actually comes under the category of what? The strategy taxonomy. Another taxonomy is called the language competence taxonomy. Language competence taxonomy actually takes into consideration the grammar aspect as well as the pragmatic aspect. Now, usually you see that a native speaker in most cases, they learn the grammar of a language, they know the form, but they do not know about the usage, about the use of form. Like, I mean, our Pakistani student, those who try to learn English through book, they learn grammar. They have a variety of structure with them. But when it comes to pragmatic, that when, where, and how to use this structure, they face problem. In other way, you can say they develop grammatical competence, but they have problem in communicative competence. Basically, this language competence taxonomy is connected with this. Now, over here, two kind of the error are divided into two categories. One is called the overt error, another is called covert error. Overt errors, which are clear, I mean, like in the surface structure, which I just explained in the case of surface structure taxonomy, strategy taxonomy. Now, all these errors, you can say they are the overt actually errors. Now, the other category is covert error. Covert error actually, it can be either the error in deep structure, or it can be when the student don't know where to use structure properly. I mean, when he doesn't know the level of formality which is there in language, or he, doesn't know that which structure to be used, when, where, and why, and how, etc. So, like, I will give you an example to explain it. As I, I have come up with this example again and again when I have to explain the grammatical, the communicative competence. That I mean, if a teacher is writing something on a whiteboard and he commits mistake over there, and one of the student, he points out the mistake of the teacher. That, sir, you made a mistake. Now, grammatically, this sentence doesn't have any problem. It is okay. From meaning point of view, from syntactic point of view, the sentence is correct. Sir, you made a mistake. But English people, they do not directly point out the mistake of the teacher. They say that, sir, I would have thought, or I should have thought that you made a mistake. So over here, I mean, if you know that thing, it means that you are not only having grammatical competence, you also have the communicative competence or pragmatic competence. So, I mean, over here in this language competence taxonomy, errors are divided into these two categories: overt errors and overt error. Another kind of error is systematic taxonomy. And the other taxonomy, the third taxonomy, is actually about the systematic taxonomy, and it was developed by Corder in 1947. Now, he basically divides the errors of foreigner learner into three categories. One he calls the pre-systematic error, another systematic error, and the third one post-systematic error. Now, in pre-systematic error are included those error, random errors of the student who actually don't know that much about the rules of the target language. They commit random kind of error. Another category is called a kind of error is the systematic error. Now, these are actually the error which actually student commit in a situation that they actually, now it signal the learner has discovered a rule which is incorrect. The learner has discovered a rule which is incorrect. What does it mean? It means that student acquire a rule which is not there actually in the target language in L2, but he has developed from himself. Now, that leads toward fossilization. And fossilization is what? When you learn something wrong in a language. Now, keep in mind, if you haven't learned something in language, it is not that much difficult. Then the one, if you learn something which is not actually acceptable to the native speaker, that is called fossilization. And from language learning theory's point of view, you can say that actually that is when your declarative knowledge is converted into procedural knowledge without, I mean, prematurely when your declarative knowledge converts into procedural knowledge. So in the other category, the systematic errors, ये ऐसे खतरनाक एरर नहीं, खतरनाक एरर्स हैं, गलतियां आपसे होती है, आप इसको ठीक नहीं कर पाते, ये आपने सीखी हैं, गलत सीखी हैं, उसको खत्म करना मुश्किल है बनिस्बत इसके कि आप अगर आपने नहीं सीखी है, आप सिरे से इसको सीखने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो ये दो कैटेगरीज होगी. तीसरी कैटेगरीज में उसने डाला है, दैट इज द पोस्ट सिस्टमेटिक एरर. ये क्या है? इट सिग्नल दैट द लर्नर नोज द करेक्ट रूल बट डजंट ऑलवेज फॉलो इट. अब ये आ जाता है, आप ये कह सकते हैं कि ये आपकी जो है ना डिक्लोरेटिव नॉलेज है, जो प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज में कन्वर्ट नहीं हुई, तभी आपसे ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही है लैंग्वेज में. जब आपकी डिक्लेरेटिव नॉलेज जो है प्रोसीजरल नॉलेज में चेंज हो जाती है, सो इट डजंट टेक कॉन्शियस एफर्ट्स. एग्जाम्पल इसकी किस तरह से? इसकी एग्जाम्पल इस तरह से है कि मतलब यू लर्न दैट थिंग, आई मीन इट्स वेरी कॉमन टू द फॉरेनर लर्नर ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज दैट दे are told that, I mean, with subject he and she, in the present sentence with verb you will have to use es or s, right? Now you know that, but again and again you are committing mistake. That means that it is in your declarative knowledge but which has not been converted into procedural knowledge. So this is post systematic errors. Another taxonomy that is called error gravity taxonomy. Error gravity, it see the gravity of an error. Now three basic principles are followed over here. in this taxonomy. One is called the intelligibility, another is acceptability, and the third one is irritation. On the basis of these three, errors are divided. I mean, intelligibility, if let's suppose I am a foreigner and a second language learner of English language, right? Now, I say something which is grammatically or semantically is not correct, but the addressee understand what I am trying to say. I mean, my message is conveyed to my addressee. So over here, we see intelligibility is there. It's okay. But if I say something, there is a problem in my sentence, which is that much grave, serious, that my address is not understanding what I am saying. तो ये फिर बहुत ज्यादा उसके लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है. इंटेलिजिबिलिटी उसकी नहीं रहती. जब इंटेलिजिबिलिटी नहीं रहती तो जो आपका सुनने वाला है उसको उसकी समझ ही नहीं आती कि ये बंदा मुझे क्या कह रहा है, राइट? तो ये इंटेलिजिबिलिटी लेवल पे आप एरर को वो करते हैं कि ये और उसमें एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी भी आ जाती है कि ये एक्सेप्टेबल है, ये एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है. बाज एरर्स एक्सेप्टेबल कर लिए जाते हैं, बाज जो है नॉन एक्सेप्टेबल हो जाते हैं. इरिटेशन से मुराद ये बाज ऐसे मिस्टेक्स हो जाते हैं कि वो एक्सेप्टेबल ही नहीं होते. मतलब उसकी वजह से ऑफेंस, वो वर्ड्स अगर ऐसे सेंटेंसेस आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में बाज दफा ऐसे सेंटेंसेस ऑफेंसिव हो जाते हैं. जैसे एक एग्जांपल है, आप मतलब है पश्तो में या उर्दू में आप अगर आप किसी को कहें कि यार मुझे ये नमक पकड़ा दो, खाने पे टेबल पे बैठे हुए हैं इंग्लिश मैन, आप कोई बंदा दोस्त है आपका जो है पाकिस्तानी, उसको कहेंगे यार नमक पकड़ा दो, वो आपको दे देता है. लेकिन अगर इंग्लिश पीपल को आप मैन यू से दैट थिंग दैट पास मी द साल्ट, ही कैन बी एग्रेसिव बिकॉज आपको तो ये लगता है कि मैंने सिर्फ उसको कहा कि नमक, लेकिन इंग्लिश में जब आप कहते हैं पास मी द साल्ट, इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ कमांड दैट यू आर गिविंग टू दैट इंडिविजुअल हु इज आई मीन अ स्ट्रेंजर इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, सो ही मे बी ऑफेंडेड एंड से समथिंग वेरी सीरियस, मे यूज अ वेरी बैड लैंग्वेज टू यू. तो ये चीज भी उनकी आ जाती है. सो एनीवे, एरर जो होते हैं उसको, एरर को एक दो चीजें, एक को लोकल एरर वो उसने फिर नाम दिया है, एक को जो है ना उसने ग्लोबल एरर दिया है. ग्लोबल एरर वो एरर आ जाते हैं कि जिसमें मतलब इंटेलिजिबिलिटी, बिल्कुल सेंटेंस जो है ना उसकी मीनिंग ही वो सुनने वाले के लिए वो उसको समझ ही नहीं पाता कि ये कहना क्या चाह रहा है. तो ये ग्लोबल एरर हो जाते हैं. लोकल एरर में ये आ जाता है ना कि है तो गलत, लेकिन सामने वाले को यू एक्चुअली कन्वे योर मैसेज, you pass your message across to the individual. So anyway, that is और एक और है जो एरर की एक कैटेगरी. अब एरर को दो कैटेगरी में, एक एरर्स वो होते हैं कि एक दो सेंटेंसेस, दो लैंग्वेज की बीचेस में जो एरर आती है, आई मीन द एरर व्हिच आर कमिटेड बाय द L1 of L1 by the L2 learner. एक तो वो आ जाती है इन और हेयर टू लैंग्वेजेस आर इन्वॉल्व. एक वो एरर्स होते हैं कि लैंग्वेजेस में बनाते खुद एक लैंग्वेज में होती है, इसलिए एक को कहते हैं इंटर लैंग्वेज एरर और दूसरे को कहते हैं इंट्रा लैंग्वेज एरर. इंटर लैंग्वेज एरर, द एरर व्हिच आर committed when the one language learner is trying, the first language learner is trying to learn L2, तो उसमें आपके ये प्रॉब्लम जो है उनको ये आ जाता है. और इंट्रा लैंग्वेज एरर्स वो होते हैं कि जो खुद एक लैंग्वेज में होते हैं और जिसकी और स्टूडेंट उसी में मिस्टेक्स वगैरह करते हैं. तो उसमें अब इन एरर्स को इस टैक्सोनॉमी में एक को वो कहते हैं ओ जनरलाइजेशन, एरर ऑफ जनरलाइजेशन. बच्चे ने कुछ सीख लिया है L2 के बारे में, थोड़ा बहुत या ज्यादा है सीख लिया है, अब वो हर जगह पे उसको इस्तेमाल कर रहा है और जनरलाइज करता है. बच्चों में अक्सर ये आप देख लेते हैं, I mean you find in children this kind of thing, that I mean when their short memory is hanged because of overload, what they do, they actually try to revert toward the easier approach. अवॉइडिंग द डिफिकल्ट। वो ये भी आ जाता है। सॉरी, ये तो सिंप्लीफिकेशन वाली एग्जाम है, लेकिन और जनरलाइजेशन ये है कि बच्चा एक रूल सीख जाता है और हर जगह उसको इस्तेमाल करता है। ये जो अभी एग्जांपल मैंने दिया, ये जो है ना आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं सिंप्लीफिकेशन के लिए। ये सिंप्लीफिकेशन में ये हो जाता है कि कोई चीज है बच्चे के कॉग्निटिव लेवल से कुछ ज्यादा हो जाता है, तो फिर बच्चा क्या हो जाता है, जब उसकी मेमोरी हैंग हो जाती है तो वो फिर जो सीख का है बस उसी पे गुजारा करता है, और डिफिकल्ट चीज को, आई मीन आई मीन इन वन इन लेवल होते हैं लैंग्वेज के, बाद में डिफिकल्टी कम होती है, बाद में डिफिकल्टी ज्यादा हो जाती है, बाद में सिर्फ सिंटैक्स इन्वॉल्व हो जाता है, बाद में सेमेंटिक्स भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाता है, बाद में प्रैग्मेटिक। ये जब ऐसी चीजें ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो जाती हैं तो बच्चा जो है ना उसकी मेमोरी, उसका जो है ना कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी इतनी डेवलप नहीं हुई होती, तो वो हैंग हो जाता है, उसकी वजह से वो और सिंप्लीफाइड कर देता है चीजों को। एक एरर को और सिंप्लीफिकेशन कहते हैं, दूसरे को और जनरलाइजेशन कहते हैं। एक जो है ना कम्युनिकेटिव बेस्ड एरर्स होते हैं, वो ऑलरेडी हमने उधर डिस्कस कर दिए कि कम्युनिकेटिव टेक्सोनोमी जो हमने कहा था, कॉम्पिटेंस टेक्सोनोमी, कि एक तो हमारा ये है कि हम सिर्फ ग्रामर सीखते हैं, ग्रामर को कहाँ पे इस्तेमाल करना है, जब हम ये नहीं सीखते तो हमारे पास जो है ना, मतलब है हम ग्रामेटिकल कॉम्पिटेंस तो हमारी आ जाती है, कम्युनिकेटिव कॉम्पिटेंस में हमारे हमें मसला आ जाता है। तो ये कम्युनिकेटिव कॉम्पिटेंस के जो मसले आ जाते हैं वो वाली। अब डीप स्ट्रक्चर में आपने देखा होगा, यू माइट हैव सीन दैट वन सेंटेंस, I mean, two sentences having same word order, coming from same, phrase, having same phrases, same classes, will be having two different meaning. उनकी तो उनका डीप स्ट्रक्चर डिफरेंट होता है, और वो क्या हो जाता है, दैट इज द पॉइंट कि उसमें भी कम्युनिकेटिव कॉम्पिटेंसी इन्वॉल्व हो जाता है। तो ये वाला इशू उनको। अच्छा, एक और चीज भी इसमें आ जाती है, ये इंट्रालिंगुअल जो एरर्स हैं, इसमें वो चीजें पेडागोजिकल इंड्यूस एरर, उसने उनको नाम दिया है पेडागोजिकल इंड्यूस एरर, जो हमारे कोर्स की वजह से जो एरर्स जो है ना, अगर साइंटिफिक नहीं है, ये तो अभी जो है ना डेवलप होगी। Everything has developed. So that is the reason that nowadays, if you look at syllabuses at school level, colleges level, and university level, you say that they are highly advanced, and the utmost care is taken to cover up all the aspect of languages. Not only focusing on one or two or three aspect of languages and neglecting the other aspect. When the syllabus is composed, all the factor of languages are taken into consideration to make it very comprehensive. So if the subject is not, the pedagogy is not comprehensive, so definitely the student who are learning those courses, they will be having problem, they will be committing an error. So an intralingual error are basically divided into overgeneralization. Another is the simplification. Third is communication based error, and last one is the pedagogical induced error. Anyway, that was a discussion about the error analysis, right? And I hope it would help you more or less. Sorry, initial stages है, पता ही नहीं चलता, focus करना मुश्किल हो जाता है. But anyway, we will also be get used to, regarding our lecturer. See you inshallah in the next time. अगर फिर भी कोई मसला है, तो आप लोग anytime you can contact me, my dear students, and ask me. I will be there for you people. You have my mobile number. I'm usually all the time, you see that I'm on the net. You can contact me anytime. Most welcome. Something is missing in the topic or something is creating a problem for you, you have queries, question in your mind, um, feel at home. Feel free to ask me. Okay? Most welcome. See you inshallah next time. Till then, take a good care of yourself. Allah.